For terrible agencies the Spirit allows, and there are subtle and enormous powers that shield themselves with the covering ignorance. Offspring of the gulfs, agents of the shadowy force, haters of light, intolerant of peace, aping to the thought, the shining friend and guide, opposing in the heart the eternal will, they veil the occult, uplifting harmonist. His wisdom's oracles are made our bonds. The doors of God they have locked with keys of creed, and shut out by the law His tireless grace. Along all nature's lines they have set their posts, and intercept the caravans of light. Wherever the gods act, they intervene. A yoke is laid upon the world's dim heart, masked are its beats from the supernal bliss, and the close peripheries of brilliant mind block the fine entries of celestial fire. Always the dark adventurers seem to win. Nature they fill with evil's institutes, turn into defeats the victories of truth, proclaim as falsehoods the eternal laws, and load the dice of doom with wizard lies. The world's shrines they have occupied, usurps its thrones. In scorn of the dwindling chances of the gods, they claim creation as their conquered fief, and crown themselves the iron lords of time. Adepts of the illusion and the mask, the artificers of nature's fall and pain, have built their altars of triumphant night in the clay temple of terrestrial life. In the vacant precincts of the sacred fire, in front of the reredos, in the mystic rite, facing the dim velamen none can pierce, intones a solemn hymn the mitred priest, invoking this dreadful presence in his breast. Attributing to them the awful name, he chants the syllables of the magic text, and summons the unseen communion's act, while twixt the incense and the muttered prayer, all the fierce bale with which the world is wrapped is mixed in the foaming chalice of man's heart, and poured into them like sacramental wine. Assuming names divine, they guide and rule. Opponents of the highest they have come, out of their world of soulless thought and power, to serve by enmity the cosmic scheme. Night is their refuge and strategic base. Against the swords of flame, the luminous eye, bastion they live in massive forts of gloom, calm and secure in sunless privacy. No wandering ray of heaven can enter there. Armored, protected by the lethal masks, as in a studio of creative death, the giant sons of darkness sit and plan the drama of the earth, their magic stage. All who would raise the fallen world must come under the dangerous arches of their power, for even the radiant children of the gods to darken their privileges and dreadful right. None can reach heaven who has not passed through hell. This too the traveller of the worlds must dare. A warrior in the dateless dual strife, he entered into dumb, despairing night, challenging the darkness with his luminous soul. Alarming with his steps the threshold gloom, he came into a fierce and dolorous realm, peopled by souls who never had tasted peace. Ignorant like men, born blind, who know not light, they could equate was still with highest good. Virtue was to their eyes a face of sin, and evil and misery were their natural state. A dire administration's penal code, making of grief and pain the common law, decreeing the universal joylessness, had changed life into a stoic sacrament and torture into a daily festival. An act was passed to chastise happiness. Laughter and pleasure were banned as deadly sins. A questionless mind was ranked as wise content. A dull heart's silent apathy as peace. Sleep was not there. Torpor was the sole rest. Death came, but neither respite gave nor end. Always the soul lived on and suffered more. Ever he deeper probed that kingdom of pain. Around him grew the terror of a world of agony, followed by worse agony, and in the terror a great wicked joy, glad of one's own and others' calamity. There, thought and life were a long punishment, the breath a burden, and all hope a scourge, the body a field of torment, a massed unease. Repose was a waiting between pang and pang. This was the law of things, none dreamed to change. A hard, sombre heart, a harsh, unsmiling mind, rejected happiness like a cloying sweet. Tranquility was a tedium and ennui. Only by suffering, life grew colorful. It needed the spice of pain, the salt of tears. If one could cease to be, all would be well. Else only fierce sensations gave some zest. A fury of jealousy, burning the gnawed heart, the sting of murderous spite and hate and lust, the whisper that lures to the pit and treacherous stroke through vivid spots on the dull, aching hours. To watch the drama of infelicity, the writhing of creatures under the harrow of doom, and sorrow's tragic gaze into the night, and horror and the hammering heart of fear were the ingredients in time's heavy cup that pleased and helped to enjoy its bitter taste. Of such fierce stuff was made up life's long hell. These were the threads of the dark spider's web in which the soul was caught, quivering and wrapped. This was religion. This was nature's rule. In a fell chapel of iniquity, to worship a black, pitiless image of power, kneeling, one must cross hard-hearted stony courts, a pavement like a floor of evil faith. Each stone was a keen edge of ruthless force, and glued with the chilled blood from tortured breasts. The dry gnarled trees stood up like dying men, stiffened into a pose of agony, and from each window peered an ominous priest, chanting Te-Deums for slaughter's crowning grace. Cities uprooted, blasted human homes, burned written bodies, the bombshells massacre. Our enemies are fallen, they said. All who once stayed our will are smitten and dead. How great we are, how merciful art thou. Thus thought they, to reach God's impassive throne, and him command, whom all their acts opposed, magnifying their deeds to touch the skies, and make him an accomplice of their crimes. There no relenting pity could have place, but ruthless strength and iron moods that sway, a dateless sovereignty of terror and gloom. This took the figure of a darkened God, revered by the racked wretchedness he had made, who held in thrall a miserable world and helpless hearts nailed to unceasing woe, adored the field that trampled them into mire. 'Twas a world of sorrow and of hate, sorrow with hatred for its lonely joy, hatred with others' sorrow as its feast. A bitter rictus curled the suffering mouth, a tragic cruelty saw its ominous chance. Hate was the black archangel of that realm. It glowed a sombre jewel in the heart, burning the soul with its malignant rays, and wallowed in its fell abysm of might. These passions even objects seemed to exude, for mind overflowed into the inanimate that answered with the wickedness it received. Against their users used malignant powers, hurt without hands, and strangely, suddenly slew, appointed as instruments of an unseen doom. Or they made themselves a fateful prison wall, where men condemned wait through the creeping hours, counted by the tollings of an ominous bell. An evil environment worsened evil souls. All things were conscious there, and all perverse. In this infernal realm, he dared to press, even into its deepest pit and darkest core, perturbed its tenebrous base, dared to contest its ancient privileged right and absolute force. In night he plunged to know her dreadful heart. In hell he sought the root and cause of hell. Its anguished gulfs opened in his own breast. He listened to clamors of its crowded pain, the heartbeats of its fatal loneliness. Above was a chill, deaf eternity. In vague, tremendous passages of doom, he heard the goblin voice that guides to slay, and faced the enchantments of the demon sign, and traversed the ambush of the opponent's snake. In menacing tracts, in tortured solitudes, companionless he roamed through desolate ways, where the red wolf waits by the fordless stream, and death's black eagles scream to the precipice, and met the hounds of Baal who hunt men's hearts, baying across the fells of destiny. in footless battlefields of the abyss, fought shadowy combats in mute eyeless depths, assaults of hell endured, and Titan strokes, and bore the fierce inner wounds that are slow to heal. A prisoner of a hooded magic force, captured and trailed in falsehood's little net, and often strangled in the noose of grief, or cast on the grim morass of swallowing doubt, or shut into pits of error and despair. He drank her poison draughts till none was left. In a world where neither hope nor joy could come, the ordeal suffered of evil's absolutely, yet kept intact his spirit's radiant truth, incapable of motion or of force, in matter's blank denial jailed and blind, pinned to the black inertia of our base, he treasured between his hands his flickering soul. His being ventured into mindless void, intolerant gulfs that knew not thought nor sense. Thought ceased, sense failed, his soul still saw and knew. In atomic parcellings of the infinite, near to the dumb beginnings of lost self, he felt the curious small futility of the creation of material things, or stifled in the inconscious hollow dusk, he sounded the mystery, dark and bottomless, of the enormous and unmeaning deeps, whence struggling life in a dead universe rose. There in this stark identity, lost by mind, he felt the sealed sense of the insensible world, and a mute wisdom in the unknowing night. Into the abysmal secrecy he came, where darkness pierced from her mattress, grey and nude, and stood on the last locked subconscious floor, where being slept unconscious of its thoughts, and built the world, not knowing what it built. There waiting its hour, the future lay unknown. There is the record of the vanished stars. There in the slumber of the cosmic will, he saw the secret key of nature's change. A light was with him, an invisible hand was laid upon the error and the pain, till it became a quivering ecstasy, the shock of sweetness of an arm's embrace. He saw in night the eternal's shadowy veil, knew death for a cellar of the house of life. In destruction felt creation's hasty pace, knew loss as the price of a celestial gain, and hell as a short cut to heaven's gates. Then in the illusion's occult factory, and in the inconscious magic printing house, torn were the formats of the primal night, and shattered the stereotypes of ignorance. Alive, breathing a deep spiritual breath, nature expunged her stiff mechanical code, and the articles of the bound soul's contract. Falsehood gave back to truth her tortured shape. Annulled were the tables of the law of pain, and in their place grew luminous characters. The skillful penman's unseen finger wrote his swift intuitive calligraphy. Art's forms were made his divine documents. The wisdom embodied mind could not reveal, in conscience chased from the world's voiceless breast, transfigured were the fixed schemes of reasoning thought. Arousing consciousness in things in art, he imposed upon dark atom and dumb mass the diamond script of the imperishable, inscribed on the dim heart of fallen things a paean song of the free infinite, and the name, foundation of eternity, entraced on the awake exultant cells in the ideographs of the ineffable, the lyric of the love that waits through time, and the mystic volume of the book of bliss, and the message of the superconscient fire. Then life beat pure in the corporeal frame. The infernal gleam died and could slay no more. Hell spilt across its huge abrupt facade as if a magic building were undone. Night opened and vanished like a gulf of dream. Into being's gap, scooped out as empty space, in which he has filled the place of absent God, there poured a wide, intimate, and blissful dawn. Healed were all things that time's torn heart had made, and sorrow could live no more in nature's breast. Division ceased to be, for God was there. The soul lit the conscious body with its ray. Matter and spirit mingled and were one.